Hello, is anybody here? Kind of just been floating around this little consolidation zone that we've made. It seems like the trade would have been shorts after it rejected off the top of it earlier today, but we missed that. So the next thing I'd be looking for is just for this to play out again for rejections to the top side, and then I'd be inclined to buy it back up for another rejection like this. But we will see if that wants to play out or not. On the 1 minute, nothing's really happening. I personally would want to see it drop down a bit more because I'm personally not confident that it will be rejecting where it is right now, but it's possible it does. So if we get two 5 minute candle closes green, I'll take the FOMO entry. So we're just waiting for that to produce itself on US 30, and then I would be interested in going long. But we'll see what happens. So I'm just waiting for this market structure to be produced again. But I'm gonna probably take two positions off of it. So like I would be taking the FOMO entry, which would be this first rejection right here after these two candle closes. So I would take that. And then if that fails, then I'll wait for like the push up, the retest, and then for it to produce the actual entry model again at the bottom here. So just waiting for that. Two candle closes to the top side, then I'd be interested in going long. But if we do start breaking below this support level here, which is overall on the 1 hour, is the midway point of this entire key consolidation zone. What usually happens is it'll break through, then it'll come back for a retest, and then it'll fill the bottom side of the key consolidation zone. So if that happens, then I'll flip my bias and go short off of it. And that market structure would look something like, I'll find an example for you guys where it happened after the midway point. So like something like this. So it breaks through it, comes back up for a retest, and then it continues falling. And then it produces a bigger retest right here as well off of the midway point. So I would be looking for that to happen yet again. So like it would have to look something like this. Breaks through it, comes back up for a retest, and then continues falling. So I'd be looking for that for the downside if that happens, if it breaks through the midway point of the consolidation zone. And if you don't know what I'm talking about for my consolidation zone strategy, go watch my videos about it because I break it all down, my entire strategy for free. You don't have to fucking pay like $500 or whatever a bunch of people charge you for basic ICT concepts nowadays. So it's possible we're going to have some kind of reaction here no matter what. Just because like obviously there's buying pressure here, clearly. Hindsight data, you're stupid to think that there wouldn't be a reaction at this price range. It could happen anywhere in this blue box. So that is why I'm just waiting to see if we get a couple candle closes to the top side. And then I will, like I said, I'll enter in my analysis a few times until it actually turns above. But if I enter in it a couple times and it fails a couple times, then obviously that means that it's going to be selling off. But the thing is, it's like 10 a.m. for me anyways right now. And like that's a few hours after New York Open and it's Friday. And if you guys don't know this, but I've been trading US 30 since like 2018. And usually on Fridays, they tend to push it up so that it's at a good standing in the green for the week. So usually, I'm not saying always, I'm saying usually on Fridays, right before market closes, like around, so like in a couple hours, even if it is selling off, eventually it's going to turn up and try to end on a good note. That tends to happen usually on Fridays anyways. But yeah, we're just chilling and waiting for that shit to present itself if it does. And if not, then I guess we're just not going to be placing any trades. But while this is figuring itself out, I'm going to be checking out Bitcoin because I might take some trades on my live account on Bitcoin and Solana. So a couple days ago, I was waiting for, or maybe even yesterday, I forget when. It would have been February 19th. So yeah, yesterday I was waiting for this buy to happen, but it just didn't happen during stream because we were just consolidating here. But eventually it did finally break up after this level here. And now we've just been trading up on Bitcoin. So the next thing I would be waiting for is for something like this to happen again. Is for buys to happen off of this red line that I've marked out for Bitcoin, which honestly it looks pretty healthy to be playing out to fruition for that. But we'll see if it wants to turn up. So I'll put it like, I'll move my alert back up here and I'll just keep an eye on this on another screen because I might take this Bitcoin trade to the top side on my live account because obviously we're at like the massive macro daily support level here. And if we start to show signs of reactions to the top side, it's not a bad idea to go long off of it. Especially since like this would have been a massive trade if I would have been able to take it. And obviously it gave us a few entries off of it, which would have been right here or down or back here. So we are waiting to see what happens to the top side for this, for Bitcoin anyways. I'll go check out Solana too because I like trading Solana. Honestly, probably like the same thing. So if we break below this area, I'd be looking for this to happen, for it to go short. But I don't really, if I have the choice between Bitcoin or Solana, I'm going to take a Bitcoin trade just because for Fusion Markets, the account I use for my live account, the spread is a lot better for Bitcoin rather than Solana. I'm also going to put an alert above the most recent highs just so that if it does start to get green candle closes above or to the top side, I will be alerted if it wants to continue pushing up so I can take a look at it. Anyways, US 30, no signs of going long just yet. But like I said, it's possible that it drops somewhere in this price range before it starts to reject back up. Because obviously prior data has shown us that it has rejected in this entire price range to the top side. So we're just waiting to see if it does that again. But until then, doesn't really, I guess we could go check out the 1 minute to see what's being produced there. I guess we could take a, if I was a risky man, I would short this, but just to these lows here, but like honestly, that's pretty stupid to do. Especially since we need more candles to produce itself for it to actually tell us. So like even like the crazy thing is like, even though eventually it did turn up here, it still produced like my entry model. It broke through right here, came back up for a retest, and then it fell back down. So even though eventually it did finally recover, it still produced my entry model for shorts. And on the smaller time frames, that'll be more apparent. So if you're like a 1 minute scalper, like obviously this is a breakthrough right here, come back up for a retest, and clearly you could have shorted off of it down here. But like who the fuck wants to get stuck in this type of price action here? Like there's no clear defined direction. It's just like bouncing around. But either way, there is still a breakthrough, retest, rejections back down. So in the next 5 or so minutes. If this candle closes green and then the next one closes green, I'll enter off the FOMO entry, which is you just enter the trade when the first signs of reactions to the top side or wherever you're aiming for is happening off of a significant support level, which my confirmation candles are 2 candle closes in a row to whichever direction I'm playing for. But clearly, if you were trying to do like the FOMO longing right here, you would have got stopped out, right? So it doesn't always happen, or it doesn't always play out. That is why, for like, if you're conservative, you want to wait for this structure to form. So you want to wait for the first reaction up and then for it to come back for a retest and then show signs of reactions back up. But like I said, if there is strong selling pressure, it's possible that I flip my bias and go short. But we'd have to have a clean break like it's doing right now and then for it to do something like that. So there's 2 trade ideas that I'm interested in. But if nothing presents itself in like the next hour or so, I'll just end it without taking anything. So unlike the 1 minute, the FOMO entry is producing itself, which you could say that this is the breakthrough coming back up for a retest. Then you would just need another 1 minute candle close red. Then you could take the FOMO entry off of, or the regular entry off the 1 minute chart. But obviously, structures off the 1 minute are not as respected as the higher time frames. That's why I usually like scalping off the 5 minute or like even like off the 15 minute. But the thing with the 15 minute is that the move can get away from you but after like the 2 candle closes green or red. So we'll see what happens. I might go make a coffee, even though I just drank one, but I'm a coffee fiend, so. I'm thinking, who knows? Maybe I will take, never mind, I'm not. I said maybe I will take the FOMO entry off the 1 minute chart just for entertainment purposes, but it didn't, this candle closed green, not red. So that invalidates the position, or my entry criteria anyways. We could say that this is a reaction back up though, off the 1 minute, but I rarely ever trade off the 1 minute anymore. So hopefully this candle closes green and the next one closes green. No alerts have been set off on the Bitcoin trade yet. Just kind of been consolidating the last few minutes. I'm going to put a ray right there. And if we don't get a reaction off this area, I will be interested in starting to sell. So it looks like this candle is going to close green. And then if the next one closes green, I'm going to try long just for it to fill up to like this area ish. I'll trail my stop. Since we are scalping, you want to lock in profits when you got them, really. Because it is possible that this is like a downtrend and we are just taking advantage of a flag in it before it continues pushing. But either way, since we are scalping, we can take advantage of that flag. You just need to be aggressively managing the trade and trailing your stop pretty aggressively so you lock in profits before it turns down, if that's what's happening. But the thing is that it's also possible that the FOMO entry plays out and it rages up, or it's possible that either way it flags up and then produces the regular entry if it is going long. So the next 4 minutes will be the determiner. If it closes green, then I'm gonna try long position. I just really hope we don't push down more and then we're just stuck in this for like the next hour. Because how long was that? How long was this chop for the other day or earlier today? It's 23 minutes of just bouncing around doing nothing. I do not want to get stuck in something like that. Even if it is like a small green candle, I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit just because it is Friday. Might as well end the week off with a trade otherwise, or getting stopped out, or like a profitable trade or getting stopped out. Two more minutes for the FOMO entry. then I don't really know how aggressive I'm going to be with my stop loss. I am pretty long bias off of this price range, like I said, especially if this 5 minute candle closes above this little support I've marked out, then I might have a pretty aggressive stop. But we'll see. A conservative stop would be below this red line, but who wants to be conservative, right? On your Friday, ending the week. You might as well end it off a big loss or a big win, you know? Oh! And then after I get into the trade, I might go start a coffee. And then hopefully it plays out pretty quick, whether stop loss or take profit, so I can get started on my other work for the day. So I'm entering in a contract. So I'm going to risk 500. I have my stop below the most recent lows. And then we'll see how much we can milk out of this upward momentum that it's seeming to have right now. And then I'm going to go make a coffee. I'm going to set up my alerts. Let's see where the like a 1-to-1 is. A 1-to-1 is right there, so I'm going to set an alert for there. I doubt it'll have enough volatility to play out before I get back in like 2 minutes, but we'll see. Be right back. The coffee is being brewed and nothing has happened. So we will see. Maybe it's starting to push up now, though. Perfect timing. For myself, anyways. You know, this is probably like the shittiest part about scalping, is that I'm just waiting for it to play out, whether in your favor or not. Just because it is kind of mind numbing, to say the least, just to sit here and watch bars, in this case, move around on your screen. Especially when you've been doing it for as long as I have. I not much of a scalper anymore. I'd much rather take big investor trades like I usually do and then just check on it every day, like once a day. But content reasons, most people enjoy watching scalping happen. Oh, forgot to start my screen recording, so I'm going to do that. Screen recording has been started. Honestly, I think like one of the biggest things that actually has like improved my trading is creating these trading videos, because you have to break down exactly what you're doing and why you're entering a trade. It's not like all internal. And in turn, it makes you more adherent to your trading rules and everything, but also it kind of helps you break down the chart and analyze it in the correct way that it should be in accordance to however you trade. So Bitcoin looks like it's going to be starting to come up. I might take this on my live account. So yeah, I'm going to put an alert right here on Bitcoin. And then in the next few minutes, I might actually enter along on my live account for Bitcoin, BTC. Because it's all fun and games to make money on a prop firm account, but also you should be making money on a live account as well. So we have yet to have a red candle close. The thing about this trade is how we had a green candle close above this little area right here. And the thing I like about this last candle that was produced was it warmed up red, like it came down, and then buying pressure has pushed it back up. So we just want to see if that holds strong and continues playing up. But since it isn't really having a big reaction to the top side, like what I was hoping over these next 5-minute candles, I'm thinking it is just like a little flag up in this overall little downtrend. So I'm thinking it'll probably get stopped out because I was hoping for a lot more buying pressure than what is currently happening after I entered. But we'll see. I guess we have only been in the trade for like 5-ish minutes so far. Usually volatility will die down, but usually it starts picking up around this time for the next hour or so. So hopefully the volatility drives it up for a few more candles green so we can close it. I'm good with closing it. Honestly, like, I don't know. I'll just be managing it pretty aggressively. So this is a good candle that I was hoping for to continue on the buying pressure. And honestly, like if you are trading like a prop firm account or a live account, I'm a firm believer in locking in profits if you got it. Like even just right there, like what did we push up into? Like $200. If you were on like a live account or a prop firm account, honestly take that. Because how easy is that to push into $200 profit on a 50K prop firm account? That was easy to do. And even if you don't even know how to trade, even just using basic filtering systems and trading systems, you can still get a trade to push into your analysis pretty quick or pretty aggressively for like $200 really quickly. I gotta go get my coffee and see what my dog's barking at. So if you were on like a live account right now, I would say just cut the trade at like $200 profit. You want to know why? Because like $200, there's like 20 given trading days in a month, and $200 is going to be $4,000 if you're able to do it every single day. And like I was saying before my dog started barking or whatever, and I lost my train of thought, it's incredibly easy, even with very basic like filtering systems for trades, to be able to get into $200 profit on a 50K account or whatever. Like it's very simple to do, even with basic filtering systems. Even if you aren't profitable, like you should just close the trade when you're in that kind of profit. I might end up closing the trade, honestly, if we get up to 500. I'm going to reduce risk below this most recent candle though. So I reduce risk, and if we want to get stopped out with $100, whatever. But either way, I'm probably going to cut the trade around $500 profit if we push up into it. And the reason being is because since we are kind of in like a little downtrend here, it's possible that we get some kind of reaction at this level, which we are, back to the downside. So that is why I am locking in profits right now by trailing my stop pretty aggressively below this most recent candle. And then if we push up into $500 profit, then I'll cut it. Just because I have no clear indication just yet that we are not going to be flagging down and continuing on with the downtrend. But like I said, like even if this is a flag, when I was initially breaking down this trade, I said, even if this is a little flag in the overall downtrend, we can still take advantage of that as scalpers. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're taking advantage of it. And no matter what, now we're locking in like $100 profit. And even like $100. Like let's say this was like a live account that you were on, or like the XFA account that you were on. $100 every single day spread across 20 trading days in a month turns out to be $2,000. And for some people, that might be like the buffer you need to be more financially stable in whatever scenario you're in, right? So there's no reason not to be taking that trade or locking in profits when you got them. Like a lot of people will go to work for like 8 hours a day or more for like barely $150. But when you push into profit like I have in like the last 10 minutes of like $500 or like $200, people are so like they just won't close the trade because they have this weird stigma of like, oh, I have to hold it to take profit. Oh, I have to have the best risk to reward. All that shit is complete bullshit. It's just like something that was made up to make people's courses and their trading strategies that don't work, by the way, more marketable, right? So like it doesn't really fucking make sense to not lock in profits when you got them, especially if you're capable of getting a payout from that trade, if that makes sense. Like just fucking do it. Nobody cares about your trading stats at the end of the day. The only thing people care about is fucking the profits being made and like you seeing a payout or whatever. Nobody cares about your trading stats. Like if somebody if you see somebody with like a $10,000 payout from like Top Step or whatever the prop firm is, what's your first reaction? You'd be like, "Oh, let me check out your risk to reward. Let me check out your fucking trading stats." Like, no. Nobody gives a fuck. It comes down to like if you're able to churn a profit and locking those profits. I do not prefer scalping. I like taking big investor trades on my investor accounts because I don't have to sit here and watch the trade for like 2 hours or whatever it is. So if we push up a little bit more, I'm probably going to cut it at 500. Because like I said, I don't know if this is a flag in this overall little downtrend. And either way, like we are still top ticking it if it is. But this is the turning point for it. Like it'll probably end up falling or continue pushing up at this level. But either way, I'm securing some money or some $115. Yeah, I don't really like scalping, but you can't really create good content with taking massive investor trades for like 3 months at a time, where you're in the position for like 3 months at a time. It doesn't really make good short form content or whatever. Top of funnel content, I should say. It's funny because like I posted this video of on my XFA, not the combine, where like I would have like a position set up like this, and I would be cutting the trade at like 200, like 100 to like $500 every single time. And one of the top comments was like, this man fears holding trades to full take profit or something like that. And I'm like, dude, I'm up like $2,000 on this XFA. So like who gives a fuck? So I just cut the trade. So that's the trade. Um, I might be looking for another position later on in the day if it decides to play out the regular entry model, which would be this right here. So it'd have to, so this is the initial push up right here, what it's doing, but it has to come back for a retest and then show signs of rejections back down. But the probability of that happening um, before market closes is pretty low. So I'm good with stepping away with like the $500 I just made. And like, what was this? I was in the trade for like 10, 20 minutes. Obviously, we could have been holding it still. But like I said, it was at the turning point in which it would be flagging back down or continue pushing up. I guess I could have been trailing my stop aggressively and following it per candle at the bottom of it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. $500 is $500, but we'd probably be floating around like 800 now, which is unfortunate. Anyways, that's the trading session done for me on this Top Step account. I'm going to keep you guys updated in the Discord, and hopefully you guys learned a little something about not being weird and holding trades when you shouldn't be, or cutting profits when you have them just because for the sake of saying you have good trading stats, because that's stupid to do. Anyways, I'm going to be hopping off stream, and I'll keep you guys updated if I end up taking any more entries in the Discord. Have a good weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't.